My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Every single week, we break down full UFC fight cards. We give you our predictions, our bets, and our fantasy plays. So make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our content. And this video is brought to you by BETU Play to Earn. BETU Play to Earn is the world's first online sports and esports betting game. Check it out now at betuearn.com. That's bet, the letter U, earn.com. Next up at UFC Vegas 50, we have Bruce Leroy Caceres taking on Sodiq Yusuff. Caceres is 19-12 overall. He's 5-0 in his last 5, and he's coming off a submission win over Sang-Woo Choi. Sodiq Yusuff is 11-2 overall. He's 4-1 in his last 5, coming off a decision loss about a year ago. Bruce Leroy is a tried and true vet. He's only 33 years old, but he is having himself a career resurgent. His last loss was a submission loss to Kron Gracie in 2019, and since then he has strung together 5 solid wins in a row. The level of competition in that streak is not great, but his last win against Sang-Woo Choi was very solid. Caceres is pretty good everywhere. His striking is good. His durability is good. His wrestling and grappling are much better than you expect him to be, and he has a wealth of experience at this point. I mean, just look at how many fights he has. Sodiq Yusuff is a fantastic striker. He's got a ton of power, incredible speed, and a wide variety of attacks. His fight against Mike Davis might be the best Contender Series fight of all time, and he showcased his diversity in that fight. He used leg kicks well, and his takedown defense was on point. The most impressive thing to me was how well his cardio stood up, and he's coming off a decision loss to Arnold Allen, where he defended 3 out of 5 takedowns, but those 2 takedowns that he didn't defend were the difference in that fight. It's hard to look at Bruce Leroy's last 5 fights and still pick against him here, but I do think Yusuff is just too powerful. I think he's just too fast on his feet for Alex, and with his averaging less than 1 takedown per fight, I don't see Alex getting this to the ground. I don't see him being able to ride out a win. I think this is a really tough fight for both guys, and this is a great test to see how good Sodiq actually is. Sodiq is the pick, but this may be a plus 3.5 on Alex Caceres. And if you don't know what that is, you basically buy 1 single round on the judge's scorecard. If you think Alex is tough enough, which he's proven to be very tough, if you think he's tough enough to steal a round, maybe get a takedown at some point, and just one of the rounds he can win on his own, then that's probably a solid bet for you. And you can get that at WeWantPicks.com/bets. Bet Online is the only betting partner that offers that, but it's a solid spot when you got a big underdog like this. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, Alex Caceres is another one of those guys where you look at that 19-12 record and you think like, but he's a very, very good 19-12. Of those 12 losses, 3 of them are split decision losses, and 7 of them are submission losses, because he used to be one of those guys that would get in these wild scrambles with the people, and he's a very good grappler. He's a very opportunistic grappler, but in those scrambles and stuff, trying to do a little bit too much, you kind of get caught up at times, and that's how you get submitted in those fights, where now you kind of see he's kind of tightened some things up. We talk about guys like Michel Pereira and Johnny Walker, and some guys that are kind of a little bit wild. They need to kind of reel it in a little bit. And we see some guys that have success once they do that, especially like Michel Pereira. He reels it in a little bit, and he's having a little bit more success. Alex Caceres is another one of those guys where you could tell a couple years ago he really kind of reeled it in, really focused. He doesn't do a lot of wild stuff anymore, and now he's on a 5-fight win streak. He's a very, very good, experienced fighter. He knows how to use his distance. He's a long guy. He uses that kind of karate back and forth. The thing that worries me with that karate stance is he doesn't have a lot of side-to-side kind of boxing head movement. His hands are low. When he's moving back from punches, a lot of just chin up, straight back. You saw in that his last fight, he got dropped early with one of those. Just kind of, he thinks he can just kind of get out of his range with his chin. And against Sodiq, that's going to be an issue if Sodiq's able to find that target. But with that said, I just like Caceres with his opportunistic grappling. I don't know if he's going to be able to get... He's not a guy that really shoots takedowns, but in these weird scrambles where they're against the cage, in a clinch, he just has this weird ability to just get on people's backs, kind of trip them to the ground, and once he gets you there, I think he's going to be able to not dominate Sodiq, but that's where he's got a real advantage. So if he's able to survive on the feet, kind of watch that chin straight back, avoid the power shots, I like Alex in this fight, honestly. I think he's going to be my pick.
It's not I thought about that. I almost went that direction. The only reason I didn't is because he's 1 takedown per fight, and I don't think he can hang on his feet. and he's only averaging 1 takedown per fight. And yes, he's won 5 in a row, but like, look at who he beat. It's not the highest level. That last win is great, but the wins before that
Chase
have not
Hooper, incredible win. Kevin Kroom, another guy that's just tough as hell.
Notice Kevin Kroom, okay.
Tough as hell. Steven Peterson, Scott Peterson's brother. Yes, this is live. Why? I mean, why isn't everyone saying this? No, this
Who
is
cares?
not live.
Who
Ario's
don't
live.
give him the
Jeez,
time
what a
of
clown.
day. $7,100 in DraftKings. You know, I don't think he's worth it because I don't think he wins. But if you do, then he's absolutely worth it, and he may be a solid underdog play at $7,100. Sodiq Yusuff at 91. I don't think he's worth it because he's gonna have to knock out Alex Caceres to be worth that, and Alex has proven to be very tough. And you're not exactly just going to put him away. Yeah,
even if he gets dropped, he's one of those guys that will get dropped, but then on his butt and then either in a scramble right back to his feet. He's not really a guy. You know, I just had a flash of him just get absolutely flatlined because I was about to say he's not a guy that really just gets like flatline knocked out, but against Sodiq, that honestly might happen. But somebody mentioned inside the distance decisional action for Caceres plus 200. You can get the plus 3.5 for minus 110. It's interesting.
Inside the distance decision, no action isn't terrible because he's durable, so he could probably survive to a decision. And if Yusuff gasses because he's just chasing a knockout and is not there, it's possible Alex can catch him in a scramble, grab his neck or something like that. So that's not a terrible bet. What that bet basically means is if Alex Caceres wins inside the distance, knockout, submission, whatever it is, then you get paid at plus 300. Plus 300. But if Alex Caceres just gets pounded on, beat on, he's a bloody, disgusting mess, but it makes it to the judge's scorecard, you get a refund. The bet never happened. You get a refund. You're good. Your hands are clean. That may not be terrible because Alex Caceres, you know, he's very durable. You can get him just
inside the distance for plus 475. That's the plus just inside the distance.
I'd rather have the insurance. Yeah, you lose some points. I'd rather have the insurance. Anyway, BetOnline is the only book that offers that. Go to WeWantPicks.com/bets. We have 5 partners. BetOnline is one of those partners. If you jump into any one of those and make a deposit, let us know, and we will send you $50 as a thank you for supporting us and our partners